Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to be teaching you some helpful tips about the G-perms. So the first G-perm is the GA-perm, and basically it's block here and sort of R-perm headlights, as that's how I like to think of it, on the left side, and that's how you recognize it. And the way I see it and the way I learned is there's really only one way to execute this case. There's no other angle to do it from, you just pretty much have to. So basically what you're going to do is you can either grip it from the bottom and do like that, or you can regrip from up here, but it's awkward no matter how you do it. I like to do it from the bottom, it gives me more control. So basically grip here and here, about the two edge pieces, and I come up and push it over, and then I basically push down like that, and then I do a rotation either this way to do a left insert, or this way to do a right insert. So basically grip from the back, and then come up, push with your middle or pointer, and come up. And I like to insert from the back because it's right instead of left. And you know, that's basically the easiest way to do it. There's really no other way to execute easier. It's just that. The second G perm is GB perm, and there's two ways to do this. Basically, how you recognize it is there's T perm headlights in the front and a block in the back like this. And there's really no way, at least that I have found, that is a way to distinguish just from this angle and like seeing part of this that it's a GB instead of a GD. So basically, if I had it from this angle, I would do this. I could either do R prime U prime R and then do the regular thing, or what I like to do is I like to actually push with my middle finger, do an R prime, push, do a D, little d, and then do it, and it just sort of makes it not like you don't have to re-grip. And so like this, kind of push like that. It's kind of hard to do, so I'm still trying to learn it, and it's sort of like that. I don't like doing that too often. Oftentimes I'll actually rotate and do the F1, but in other cases I'll just sort of do it. Okay. And the other thing that you can do is, if I happen from this angle, you can do F prime U prime F, and then do it. And that's really nice because it's sort of gripless if you do it right. So it's just and the third one is GC perm. This seems to be the one that is the hurdle for most people. It's a tough one because for one thing, it's kind of awkward no matter how you do it. And with this one, the normal alg, which is R2, F2, it's a lot of moves and it's quite tough. It's sort of a it derives off the R perm, and it's just a couple more moves. So basically, how you can do this is you recognize it by the bar here and the headlights on the right side, so sort of like a GA except the opposite. And you're just gonna do the normal alg, which I can list in the description. And basically the easiest way to do this is to know how to use U2 with your left hand, which helps a lot, so that when you do the R2 and then the second U2, you can do with your left hand to make it faster. So basically one more time. And I did the U2 with my left hand, and there's basically no stopping when I do that, whereas if I did it with my right hand, it's a little slower, but it's not that much slower. So that's just basically the easiest way to do it. And the last G perm is the GD perm. And I actually just realized something as I was making this video. The difference between GB and GD in recognizing it from this angle is if it's GD, these colors are actually going to be the same. So if it's GD, you know that the bar is right here. If the red and red, like these colors match, so that's why I know the bar's right there. Whereas if I have a GB from this angle, then it's different. I actually literally just noticed that. So yeah, it's a little tip. So anyway, how you would do this alg is, if you have it from this angle, which is I guess the standard angle, you would do the normal alg, which would take it out and just sort of flick. But actually something I like to do is I actually use like 3 different algs for this, depending on the AUF and depending on the angle that I'm at. The common angle that I see is when you have it's a U prime AUF to put this block in place, but when it's a U over, you actually can do the D alg, which is like this. And you have to do a D at the end, but you get no AUF because it's quite tough to do AUF with this D alg. What I actually can do though is if you can finger trick this correctly, you can actually push like that, or you can sometimes do a U prime AUF if you know you're pretty good. But that's pretty much the best way to do it. So yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions, just comment. One thing I actually forgot to mention was that that was awkward. Oh, okay. Okay. One thing I forgot to mention was the difference between knowing this, like the GC perm, if it's like an A perm or not. The difference between this and an A perm is, I don't even remember. I don't know what's wrong with me. It's that these are all the same. So these two will be the same, and these two will be the same. Whereas in the G perm, you'll actually have a different sticker here and a different sticker here. They'll be opposites. So that's just how you know. That's just a quick trick because I can't tell you how many times I've gone down like this trying to do an A perm and then I find out that I got a U perm. So that's just a pain in the ass. So yeah, that's it.